I knew that she needed something extra. She's very inquisitive and she needed something more. And really, I didn't know what Rainier Scholars was, but what I did know is that they challenged students more. When I started coming to the meetings, it just gave me more confidence. And then a term that I actually stole from Ms. Huff, she was like, they could be around like-minded kids. That's something that I knew was missing in school for Gabby. I mean, within like the first 2 weeks, I was like, oh, thank goodness she got into that program.
One of the things that was particularly attractive was that there was a community of people of color who were focused on academic excellence.
It was such an opportunity that would open up avenues that somehow he would not be able to reach or think that he could actually attain.
She needed to be around other kids that were hungry for education, hungry for success, hungry to learn. Rainier Scholars is going to push her. Rainier Scholars is going to motivate her.
And really looking at what it's going to take to get him to look at college as a possibility.
So my hopes and dreams for Naomi is that she definitely becomes what she wants to be, which is a prenatal nurse. She wants to go into the sciences, she wants to go into the math, she wants to help her community.
First and foremost, I want him to be happy, right? And I want him to be whole. Part of that obviously is having a good education, so I want him to stay on the track that he's on.
Figure out what makes him tick, what makes him excited about things and challenges him, and ultimately find a career.
I didn't get to experience that whole college life, but she's gonna fit perfectly. I just want her to experience everything college has to offer. I think she could do whatever she's passionate about.
The hardest part for Naomi, I would say, was that first summer, the introduction of Rainier Scholars.
It was the sacrifices that you had to make, because it was 14 months of extra school, and on Saturdays you didn't get to have fun like the other kids. You didn't get to go to birthday parties or hang out with your family. You had to go to school.
Some of the first times he's actually had to work that hard to get it right.
Biggest struggle has been time management and juggling his work in Rainier Scholars as well as regular school.
The workload is a lot. I think it's something that she enjoys, but it's a love-hate relationship. I mean, like this morning, she didn't finish homework. She set her alarm for 5:30. And she got up at 5:30 and she sat there for 2 hours before we got here and she finished her homework.
Throughout the academic enrichment phase, I had a lot of trouble with literature. However, in the end, it ended up being very hopeful. Ultimately, I've been very grateful for all the hardships or challenges that I've faced at Rainier Scholars.
I am most challenged by some of the struggles that students have that are not in my control or the students' control, just the everyday life mishaps that happen.
Hard work obviously is the game changer in a lot of these in a lot of lives, and so I think just continuing to put the effort in, to put the time in, and equally important to persevere, right? I think far too often I've seen people actually give up on their dreams because it got hard. I think if anything, they learn that, hey, I can do it.
That's also some of the most rewarding work that I do, is helping a student through a very difficult time and seeing them get out through the other side.
I know that one of the things that he struggles with is putting himself out there. And so raising his hand, participating. And so I know that's something that he struggles with, but I know that it's something that he has risen to. We've actually heard from some of the teachers, hands up, grades up.
She's very confident in her voice. She has no problem either sticking up for someone or expressing her opinion.
The biggest benefit is seeing Elijah really find his voice, discover that he's naturally a leader.
There's a thought that comes to mind that there's no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. This is civic action on behalf of a whole lot of members of our community who care deeply about these issues, who care about equity, who who care about access, who care about education, who care about public education, who care about the well-being of young people.
When I came to Rainier Scholars, a lot of the people here and a lot of my friends here were Black or were people of color, and they showed me that it wasn't bad to be smart and to look a certain way or to talk a certain way. And it has helped me a lot more than I give it credit for, because I wouldn't have had the mentality that I have today of being able to feel comfortable being Black and educated and articulate if I hadn't have come here.
Rainier Scholars is something that I can't really quantify how much it's meant to me, because the greatest thing Rainier Scholars provided to me was the ability to dream and know that opportunities actually exist.
I moved here when I was 5, and then I got accepted through Rainier Scholars. Rainier Scholars has led me into this trajectory of going to college and trying to have a future. So I feel very lucky, because things could have gone one way or another had I not came to Seattle, had I not been accepted to Rainier Scholars, had my parents not taken the leap of courage to come into the States with me and my little siblings. I feel very lucky.
I really want to make a difference in the world, so that's why I'm kind of doing 2 odd majors, social justice and general engineering, because they don't necessarily connect, but I hope to find a way that they do.
I think everyone in Rainier Scholars is a leader in their own way. There's some people who are more outspoken, there's some people who shy back, but like leadership is something that persists in everyone in this program.
I personally enjoy being around all of these kids and seeing them grow and just become better leaders, because I know the impact that student advisors had and the people at Rainier Scholars had when I was a younger kid.
It's always been really nice to see somebody come out of their shell and become a leader themselves.
I've always thought of leadership as like me leading through example, through my actions, and just being very assertive with who I am and the kind of person I want to be.
I feel like she would not be who she is today without Rainier Scholars, and I get so emotional because I love my daughter so much, and I just have hopes and dreams for her, because it's hard out there. And with programs like this, they have the help, they have the resources, they have the teachers, they have the counselors that parents that may not know where to turn to can turn to, and it's helping her be a better person.
Rainier Scholars literally is like life-changing for Gabby. You know, she's gonna go off into a whole nother world that would not be available to her, had Rainier Scholars not been around.
When I meet with parents, it's actually really pretty moving because I'm a parent and I'm an educator and I'm in this community, and you see people whose lives are changed. In many cases, for parents to see their kids move down a path that they themselves could not go provides a sense of communal accomplishment that we've done this together. So I just love this concept of Rainier Scholars, of kids and family and community, dreaming and rising together.
Together we dream.
Together we dream.